Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making Hotteok, Korean sweet pancakes. To start this dish, we need 1.5 cups of warm water. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of oil and 2 teaspoons of dry active yeast and set that aside to bloom. Next up, we need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, a half cup of sweet glutenous rice flour, as well as 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. We're gonna sift that through a strainer just to get out any large lumps. Now that our yeast is bloomed, we can add in 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, just popping that right in there and giving that a little stir. And we're going to slowly incorporate this into our dry ingredients, just adding a little bit at a time just to let that flour absorb the liquid. Now I'm stirring with chopsticks, but you can use a wooden spoon or a spatula, whatever you're most comfortable with. So keep doing this until all the water is added in, and you're going to end up with a very wet dough. So get in there with your hands. It's not going to look very pretty right now, but trust the process. So just get in there with your hands and mix this all together until there are no more dry spots. And you end up with a nice little dough glove on your mixing hand. So this is thoroughly mixed now. We're going to cover this with some plastic wrap and a tea towel and put this in a warm place and let this rest for 3 hours. For our fillings, we need 1/4 cup of dry roasted peanuts and 1/4 cup of sesame seeds. We're just going to blitz this up if I can get the lid on correctly. And we want this to be the consistency of wet sand. It should look like this. And we're going to pop that into a bowl, but we're also going to do a pistachio filling as well. So 1/4 cup of raw pistachios, just giving that a little blitz and putting that in a bowl. To each of these, we're going to add in 1 cup of sugar. I'm using turbinado, but just use white sugar if that's what you have. For the peanut sesame, we're going to add a little seasoning. So we need about a teaspoon of cinnamon. For the pistachio, I'm adding in 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. Then we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of salt to each. And for the pistachio, I'm going to zest in the zest of 1 small mandarin. Give those a little mix and we can set those aside. Now it's been 3 hours and you can see how much this dough has risen. It is just pretty much exploded. Now to handle this dough, because it is very sticky, we're going to have to oil our hands with a little vegetable oil. So oil your hands and grab about 2 tablespoons of your dough. Press that out flat in the palm of your hand. And then we're going to take 1.5 tablespoons of our filling and just place that right into the center. And then we're going to take the edges and start pulling this over to seal it. And once everything's sealed, we're going to place this seam side down on a square of parchment, and we're just going to continue to fill until all our dough is used up. Now on the stove, you should be heating about 2 inches of vegetable oil to about 350 degrees. We're going to place our little pancakes in, parchment and all, and after a couple of seconds, you should be able to slide that parchment right out. If you watch the donut video, the mochi donuts, we're doing the same process. We're going to let this cook for 30 seconds. Before going in and flipping these over and pressing these down with a little press. I have a Hotteok press. If you don't have that, just use a spatula or even a hamburger press. Once we press these down and flatten them out, we're going to let them cook for 2 minutes, give them a little flip, and let them cook for an additional 2 minutes. Then we can take them out and drain them. And to plate, I'm just putting 3 on a little plate here. And now we can go ahead and give these a taste. This is a peanut one, and you can smell the cinnamon as soon as you pop this open. The sugar is melted and turned into this gorgeous syrup. You get the cinnamon, you get that nuttiness from the sesame, as well as peanuts. The dough is light and fluffy, so all the sweetness comes from the filling, because we didn't add any sugar to the dough. I also want to try pistachio, and I think this is a pistachio one. That mandarin zest comes through again as soon as you open this up. This one I think is my favorite. Pistachio, just that flavor just comes through. You get a little hint of that allspice, and the orange zest just wakes up this whole little sweet pancake. But there it is, Hotteok sweet Korean pancakes. I really do hope you all try to make these. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really do appreciate it. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you loved it, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, because I put out new videos every Thursday. Thank you again, and until next time, happy cooking.